Welcome to this webinar, Project Template Fitness and View Creation Automation with CTC Tools, webinar presented by ETG. My name is Patrick Podine. I am an architectural technical specialist here. And so before I begin, if you have any questions about anything that's going on, please feel free to post in the chat, and then I'll also give some time afterward to ask additional questions. Also, too, this video will be sent out after to your email. So if you're wanting the recording, don't worry, it's going to come to you. So let's go ahead and get started. So a little bit about me. I have 7 years of experience working in the AEC industry, helping engineers and architects do a number of things using Dynamo and native Revit workflow techniques. And I enjoy teaching Revit. I also will be teaching Dynamo soon. For those of you who may be interested in Dynamo, I have a webinar coming up, I believe in March, and we're going to go through some stuff about Dynamo. But that's a little bit about me. Also, there's my Twitter. If anyone is on Twitter and feels the need to kind of give me a follow, see what I'm doing, I tend to post some of the stuff I do in Dynamo on Twitter, so go ahead and give me a follow. So learning objectives today. So kind of an introduction to the Type Swapper interface that is located in the BIM Manager Suite. I've been using this tool quite a bit, doing some of the template builds that I do to kind of get things cleaner in a model, so to speak. You know, when you bring in details from other projects or from an older template and stuff like that, line work tends to come over, details tend to get duplicated, that sort of thing. And so the Type Swapper is an easy tool to use to kind of manage those things that can occur. And we're going to cover various element types in a project and switch them over to correct types. Also, we're going to go over the view creator, which is located in the Project BIM Suite. We're going to create views across phases, and then we're also going to look at ensuring that views are associated with the correct view template. So I'm not one for PowerPoint. I'm more of a demo type of person, so let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and open up Revit here. I have a sample model open. And so the first tool, like I said, Type Swapper, it is in the CTC BIM Manager Suite. It's located here. Let's go ahead and open this guy up and kind of see what's inside of here. Bring this over to this screen. So in here, you can kind of see a number of things. So you can see duplicated families, and so it's going to give you a list of everything that's duplicated, as well as kind of the category that's associated to and what it might be best easily to swap to. So you can see here I have a baluster around 4. I can click on this guy and just easily say swap. Also down here, there is a checkbox that says delete duplicate families once you hit the swap button. So if I hit the swap here, it's going to say, are you sure you want to delete duplicate families? Yes. I'll go ahead and hit yes. And it's going to start swapping families. This box is going to come up, and it's going to kind of give me some information into what was successful, what was not, and kind of some information relating to it. You can see here I've pretty much successful all the way through. You can copy this to clipboard if you want for further reference. I'm going to hit OK here, and now you can see that all of these have been removed. You can also save selections. Say you tend to do stuff afterward and you want to recall this later, you can do so. Next thing would be kind of the dim styles. And so in here I have a bunch of dim styles that are kind of duplicated, or somebody's gone through and just started making duplications on them. I want to kind of clean this up a little bit. I can also do a little filter method, so I can filter by the different dimension styles. So a linear dimension style, it's going to show me all of those. It also gives me the count, how many of that instance are placed within the project. And so I can see here there's a lot of, there's 21 of this type, there's 37 of this type. And so this will kind of give you an idea of how many times somebody has used this specific, dimension style in the project. And so it's as simple as doing what we did previously. So let's say we want to swap this one to this one. So we go over here to the swap to. Under no change, I'm going to click the drop down, and in here I can see all of my different dimension styles that I can pick from. So we're going to do linear 330 seconds aerial. So I'll click on that one there. I'll hit swap. And then this events UI is going to pop up. It's going to tell me successfully swapped the 33 to that, and there were 37 instances that were updated. As soon as I hit OK, it's going to go ahead and move that over. Afterwards, I can choose to delete this if I like, and then hit yes, and it's going to tell me that it was deleted. Hit OK there. Now, in the event that you accidentally move something over, you can do an undo, so Control Z once you get out of this. But if you synchronize after, you're kind of you won't be able to do any sort of undoing from that point. We can swap over text styles too. Say somebody brought in a CAD file and exploded it. First off, that's a very big no-no. You should not be exploding CAD files in your Revit projects. But if say that happens, you can come in here and find all those text types. You know, say we, for instance, 9/128 Roman. I don't know where that name came from, but we have 824 of them. That's not good. So what we can do here is we can swap that over to, say, our 330 seconds inch aerial. Hit swap. And it's going to swap all 824 of those instances over to the 330 seconds inch aerial. Hit OK there. Click on this, and let's get that guy out of here. We don't want him in here anymore. Click OK. It's going to tell me it's been deleted from the project. And so you can kind of tend to see here, you know, somebody's been duplicating text styles or bringing in details from other projects. You know, this list can kind of start to get a little crazy and a little chaotic at times. And for periodic times, you can go through and use this type swapper to, you know, manage your text styles or your dimension styles relatively easily and quickly in your project to ensure that everything is kind of up to snap if you're a BIM manager or a BIM specialist or a BIM lead, some sort of person doing some sort of policing on a project, and you're in CDs and someone's saying, you know, we have, you know, 30 different text styles. I just want one in the project. You know, this is a very helpful tool to go in and start to manage that information. We can also do line styles too. So again, somebody exploded a CAD file. You have all these line styles in here, and you want to kind of clean this up a bit, kind of the same concept. One thing I would recommend first is going through the object styles and seeing, you know, the line styles that are in your project and the thicknesses and kind of what they closely associate with what you want to standardize. So say, for instance, I want everything to be under this DETL01. You know, I would go into my object styles and verify that what the line style is used for that, the weight, everything like that. And then, you know, so maybe this one thin needs to actually be in this DETL01, you know. So I have 770 instances of that. So I'm going to go ahead and swap that over to that DETL1. If I can find it, there it is. And then I'm just going to hit swap. And again, it's going to take all of those line styles and convert them over to that one line style. So again, if you're building templates or something like that, you know, a surefire way whenever you bring in details to kind of manage all the line styles rather than going into one view and selecting the line and then trying to select all instances in the entire project, you know, this is a very quick and easy way to manage that. And then I can go in here and then hit delete. Now, the one thing this does not do is it does not delete the line style. So what I mean by line style is if I go into manage, additional settings, and actually I mean the line patterns. If I go into the line patterns, even though you delete the line style, it's not going to delete the line pattern. And so if you've ever dealt with an exploded CAD file in your Revit file, you know that the line patterns will come over with that. Unfortunately, you'll have to go through and kind of manually delete these all at once. Or if you know Dynamo, you might be able to do build a Dynamo workflow to do this. We have a question. Will the type swapper reach into legends and drafting details to swap? So it'll reach into the legends and drafting details for the various types of text. Yes, so this is covering project-wide legends, details, text on sheets, text in views, that sort of thing. It'll reach that. So go ahead and hit cancel there. Go back to the type swapper. Any other questions so far? Alrighty. So that's kind of line styles. So we can do the same thing with fill patterns. It gives us information into, is it a drafting pattern or is it a model pattern? And so you can kind of go through, if you have some duplicates in here, you can swap them over to various ones and delete the ones that you don't need. Same thing for materials. If you have multiple materials in here and you want to kind of get them all under one sort of material, you can do the same thing within there. Very useful tool, very helpful, definitely something to use through various timelines in your projects. CD, DD, CA, any sort of thing like that, to kind of quickly, help manage and contain the beast that is whenever you bring in stuff from other projects. And so that is the type swapper. Were there any questions about the type swapper? All right, so we're going to move on to the next tool, which is the view creator that is located in the BIM project suite. View creator. So this is a pretty helpful tool. It says view creator, but you can create a lot of other things with this tool. Let me drag this over to the screen. So one of the things you can do is you can create levels in here. So I can go ahead and hit add level. Melanie has a question. Where can I get the type swapper? It's not listed in my CTC software. Double check with your account manager, whoever it is, and kind of see with if you're on the latest update or if you have the actual BIM Manager Suite installed itself. And if you don't have just the BIM Project Suite, but double check with your account manager to see if you do in fact have the BIM Manager Suite, and then also if you do, double check that you have the most up-to-date version of our CTC tools. Yeah. Does that answer? Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and create levels. So add a level. I'm going to call this BIM level 9. I'm going to go 90 feet on there. So I can go create and update. I can also modify these as well. I can change the actual elevation offsets to the various numbers and update them within this UI. So go ahead and create. I created one level, nothing failed, nothing updated. All right. So what you can do with the view creator is create actual views. So we need to go ahead and start creating views for our BIM level 9. So what we're going to do is I'm going to toggle this. We can add a abbreviation to it if we want to. Call this BIM L9. And then from here we can specify the actual view template that's going to get associated to it and append an abbreviation. So I want the architectural plan view template to be associated to this. And then I also want this to be created for an existing and new construction. I don't want any sort of abbreviation on new construction, so I'm just going to check that abbreviation. And then I want the abbreviation of E for my existing. Now down here is kind of where you begin to determine the actual name of the view. And so it's going to take that abbreviation if there's something in it. If not, it's going to read just the name that's in there. So since I have the abbreviation BIM L9, it's going to take that floor plan and then E for existing. You can also insert a prefix. And then here you can kind of define, what's going to come first, second, and then third. And so for me, what I want is I want the phase name to come first. After that, I want the level. And then after that, I want the view template. And so the view template, again, it's going to read the view abbreviation floor plan here. And then I want to add the suffix WK at the end. So if I hit add, this is just adding it to the set to then begin to build. So I can see here and review it. So BIM L9, floor plan, WK, E, BIM L9. Okay, that looks good to me. So What I can do here is go ahead and create views. Plan view created 2 and 0 failed. So I know that it created my views. You can also duplicate elevation views. You know, if you have your elevations in here and you want to create existing views for them, you can do so within there. Dependent views. Now this one is probably the most useful one that I have found because, you know, creating area views can suck at times. So it looks like we have another question. Can you choose to not use one of the item for automation, i.e. don't include level at all? Let's go back. Christopher. So I'm going to have to get back to you on that one to see if it's something that we can do. I think I tested it out previously, and I don't know if I came up with an exact solution to it, but I will write that down and I will get back to you on that one. Okay, Christopher? All right, so back to dependent views. So if you're working through a project and say you have multiple areas, say A through F and multiple levels, you know, creating dependent views can be, you know, it can be a very time-consuming process of clicking on the view, right-clicking, create dependent view, and then renaming it, associating the scope box, all of that. I've done it many times. I've spent many hours trying to do that. And so this tool will help sort of alleviate that. So before you begin, you must have scope boxes drawn. So I have in here an original scope box, a building overall, an area A and an area B. These are drawn within my project, and then it's going to look at all of the floor plans that are in my project. So I want to create area plans for these four right here. So I have to click one by one. I did try this earlier to try and get it to work for all of them, but from what I found, you have to click them one at a time. So click them one at a time. Again, this is a lot faster than trying to do it manually. So I have those selected. It's going to create a floor plan for building overall, area A and area B, and these are all going to be dependent of these views here. So if I go ahead and say create dependent views, it's going to take some time, and so created dependent views 15. I can go ahead and hit close. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We're going to go into the floor plans, and so you can kind of see here that it actually indeed created those floor plans as well as apply the scope box to the view itself, as you can see here. Kind of the naming that it takes on is it's going to take the parent name 01 dash floor plan dash, and then add the scope box name to the end of it, as you can see here. So real quickly, couple seconds, I was able to generate all of these floor plans that are dependent based off of the scope box and have the scope box applied to each one of those floor plans. If you ask me, that saves a lot of time, especially in project startup phases, especially if you have 7 areas and maybe, you know, 10 levels. You know, that's a lot of views to try to create. And so doing these, you can do that. Dumb question, can one run these tools through a DynamoScript? Yes, you definitely can run them through DynamoScript. The downside with kind of having a DynamoScript, though, is it's going to require a couple of custom packages, and trying to share custom packages is it's a little difficult. The Dynamo team hasn't really made it that easy of a thing to do. Whereas right here, we have just a button which is going to always work. You know, Dynamo is one of those things that's constantly updating. It's open source. I love Dynamo. Personally, I really do. But when there's a button involved, I much rather prefer to give somebody a button to use rather than trying to give a user a Dynamo script to use. But I love Dynamo. I love building Dynamo workflows. I've built a Dynamo workflow that does this same thing exactly. But I would prefer the button over this. Can we use your tool and call the action from the Dynamo script? Oh, I see. You want to be able to use the CTC view creator from within Dynamo. Unfortunately, no. You wouldn't be able to call to that because the Revit add-in is using the Revit API and making API calls. So you wouldn't be able to make a call to the CTC View Creator tool specifically from within Dynamo, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a bummer. It is. It truly is. I wish there was a way to do that. There might be. I haven't done much research of it, but I don't think there is a way to do that, unfortunately, unless there's they inputted that API call for the View Creator in within Revit, or if you're able to call to it somehow via Python, you might be able to achieve that. Probably something to look into for sure. All right, so that's kind of the dependent views, and also you can do for various phases too, and it'll toggle to the view phase that it's created on. So new construction and existing. So View Creator, it says View Creator, but you can actually create a lot of other stuff that are not view related, such as the levels, schedules. If you want to create a schedule per phase, so that way you have, you know, a door schedule. If say you have multiple phases in your project, a phase 1, a phase 2, a phase 3, and be able to schedule the doors that are in those specific phases. And this would be a very quick way to kind of accomplish that. Sheets and title blocks. This is another big one. Say your consultants are in AutoCAD and they've given you a sheet list, and you want to show those sheets within your in your sheet index. This would be a way to kind of batch add those sheets. So you batch add, and then you insert the names in here, and then you can specify the title block. So this would be a very quick way to create sheets within your project. If say you have a consultant that's in AutoCAD and you want to populate their sheets and show them within your sheet index, or if you have a lot of sheets that you need to create off the bat, this would be a way to do it. You can also swap over title blocks, so you can specify, so say I want all these to have the 22 by 34 title block. I can go ahead and do so, hit process, and it's going to then swap over these to the various title blocks. Now you do have to have the title blocks loaded in your project in order for these tabs to begin to populate. Work sets, you can, this is a pretty cool one. So say you want to set up coordination views, say for your contractor or for somebody on the project, and you have your consultant's models on various links. What you can do is you can toggle the different work sets that you want on within a project, and you can actually create a 3D view from it, as well as append a prefix and a suffix. So I go ahead and create 3D view, created the 3D view for each. 3D views, expand that. So I can see here I have a view with just the FF and E work set turned on. Same thing for interior and shared levels and grids, just to show these as examples. Let's go back into the View Creator. You can also duplicate views. If say you need to duplicate a bunch of views, you can do so and use this tool to do so. Pretty cool tool to use. Let's go over to the view template. So this one is one to kind of go through and manage and maintain and ensure that all of your views across your projects are associated to the correct view template. Over here on the left, we have all of our views that are kind of within our project, kind of sorted out via 3D views, area plans, drafting views, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and draw it down. Let's go to these. And then these are going to be all of your view templates. As you can see here, some of these have nested items within there. Some of them don't. And so the nested items will actually show you the views that have that associated view template to it. So I can see here that all of these 3D ISO views in here all have the pre-3D views view template associated to it. So how you get these to be associated to the right view template, you simply, I'm going to click on this guy, Control Shift down to these, and then you just drag them over. So I want them under demo. So I click them on the demo, it's going to apply them here. Now I need to apply these changes. Once I hit apply changes, it's going to give me a UI that's going to let me know that all of those views now have the associated view template associated to it. So I'll hit OK there, and now I know that these views have that view template associated to it. So going through a project, going through CDs, you know, you're almost near the end, and you want to ensure that all 15 of your views have all 15 of your floor plan views have the same view template associated to it. You can actually go through this little dialog and verify that they actually are on the right view template. Pretty helpful tool, pretty good tool to use to kind of help manage that. So that is going to be the view creator. And that's going to kind of conclude this webinar, kind of a quick one to go over the type swapper and the view creator in the BIM Manager Suite. I'm going to open it up to any questions that anyone might have. Also too, if you're interested in learning a little bit about Dynamo, I'm going to be doing a webinar next month, kind of covering some project startup workflows, giving the ability to open Revit files in the background, say you have a container file, having the ability to kind of open that, and then do a little bit smarter of a project transfer standards from a container file into a Revit file that you're going to be using for the project. So if you're interested in attending that, it's going to be in March. Alrighty, if there aren't any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, this video will be sent out to you through your email to then be able to send out or watch it later. And again, Christopher, I'm going to look into that, only adding one item, and I'll get back to you on that. And then I'm a little curious too to see if we're able to call to the CTC View Creator API or any of these tools from within Dynamo. So I will get back to you on that one. But if there isn't any other questions, I'm going to end it here. I hope everybody has a good rest of February and have a good rest of the day. Thank you.